Hey guys, it's code 0.5 again. Anyway, we've been getting in trouble all day. We're trying to stay out of it, but we've done a few episodes today, and we've been talking about how we're just going to go hard and knock a bunch of these out. And one of the things we were mentioning, a story that got brought up, was a time I don't think I was in law enforcement very long, not even a year. And my supervisor, my co-workers, or whatever you want to call them, was telling me that I was too nice to people.
Oh, yeah. Too nice.
Telling me that I let them go too easily, and no matter what they've done, I need to be a little more hardcore and that kind of stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'll show them. I'm gonna show them, exactly what I need to do or whatever. I guess because I was new and they could manipulate me, I decided I was going to be different, be the hardcore officer. Anyway, I see a vehicle rolling around, and the tag, I can remember the tag was expired by a lot, and I don't know how long it'd been out. I run the tag before I walk up to the car and find out that this thing does not have insurance either.
Nope.
So I'm like, you know what? There's no brakes in this sucker. I'm impounding this car. I'm giving them tickets. I do not care.
Start me the next 62.
So I go walking up, got your chest out a little bit because I'm badass. I'm taking this guy down. I walk up there.
Saving the world.
I walk up there, and this lady that's driving, I go up there and I asked her for her license and everything. I was like, ma'am, I pulled you over because your license plate's been expired for about 6 months. And she was like, yeah, I know I shouldn't be driving, but I don't have the money right now. And I've been having to make the decision on, either buying my medication that I need to survive or getting my tag. And, I'm like, nope, I'm not buying this stuff. I'm going to be hardcore. I'm going to be tough. I'm not listening to it. I'm not biting in on it.
No mercy.
Yeah. And I'm like,
sweep the leg.
I'm like, ma'am, I was like, there's, you can't be out driving it. I'm going to need you to, empty the contents of your vehicle, whatever you may need, because I'm going to have it impounded.
Jeez.
And she was like, okay, yeah, I understand. And there's a guy over there in the passenger seat. So he gets out of the vehicle. I'm still talking to the lady, and she's telling me, she goes, yeah, what little bit money I had left, we had to go to the grocery store, and there's stuff there in the back. And I was like, yeah, you can get your groceries out. That's fine. So I walk back to the car, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I'm running all of her info and everything. It's like, yeah, that's right. It's like, I ain't taking no shit off nobody today. I don't need your medication and all this stuff. It's been 6 months. You could have got your tag. So I'm back there, and I'm, typing up what I need to. And I look up, and her son had gotten out and opened up the back. Well, before he could start getting the groceries out, he had to help mom out of the car. And when I say he helped mom out of the car, he pulls out her wheelchair from the back and expands this damn thing in front of me, and then goes around to the side to where his mom is. And the hardcore part of me, I'm still thinking, nope, don't care. She's had plenty of time. She could have taken care of this. I don't care if she is in a wheelchair. So they're over there, and he's helping her out, gets her in this wheelchair. So I'm typing this up. I'm writing citations. She's getting one for her expired tag, and she's getting one for no insurance. And I'm filling out my paperwork for the record that's coming. Don't care. So I get out, got everything printed off, and I have her sign the citation and all that. Walking back to my car, and one of the guys I work with walks up, and he goes, dude. I was like, what? And he goes, you're really impounding this lady's car? I was like, what are you talking about? I go, she ain't got no insurance, and her tag's expired and all that. And he goes, but she's in a wheelchair, dude. And at that time, the badass in me felt like shit.
Yeah, you knew you'd crossed the line when you had told her to step out of the vehicle, huh?
Oh, yeah. So they get up there, and this guy that I work with is giving me, I still catch hell to this day for this. I'll see them guys working and stuff, and they ask me, have you pulled over any more little old ladies and, taking their wheelchairs from them or anything like that? And And I've still played it out and everything. I still impounded her car from her. She had to have somebody that she knew bring their car over, and they had to hurry and get her groceries in the car because some of them were frozen and all that. And you know what? The entire time, this lady was as sweet as she could be to me and was nice. And, and it even makes me more feel like shit what I was doing, all because I got influenced by others saying, hey, you can't be doing that stuff. You can't be so nice to people. You've got to, and you know, they gave me hell for this and they still will. And they're like, man, yeah, there are times that go hard. And then there are times that you don't need to. And one of them days you don't need to, that's the day you shouldn't have.
Have you seen her out?
No, I haven't seen that lady since then.
You haven't?
Oh man, I felt so bad. I felt like going and getting her car out of impound.
Yeah, go get it. Get it out yourself.
Especially you get home and you know, at the time I'm telling my girlfriend this story. Well, she's girlfriend at the time. She's wife now. In case she hears this, have you ever accidentally called your wife girlfriend like shortly after you got married?
No.
I've almost done it a few times, and I thought I was going to die the same day.
Yeah, I don't do it.
But I told her the story about what's going on, and she gives me hell about this. She thinks it's funny as hell, but then she gives me hell about it.
You got to, man, I don't know. I get the not having to be a hard ass all the time, but you got to watch them old people because they'll pull one over on you.
Yeah.
They'll get you. They're about that life.
Yeah. Well, they'll pull the I'm old and can't afford stuff and all that. And,
no. Because we got some old people here in town. We got one that has her son. Oh well, she's passed away now. She was pretty gangster old lady though. She was pretty cool. She called my bluff, so it turned into a whole one-upping match. But her son he's in and out of drugs and taking stuff, and I knew I had a municipal warrant for him, and I was driving past the house, and I saw him go through the back door. As soon as he seen the car, he like turned around and went through the back door. So I come pulling in the driveway, and I go knock on the door, and I'm like, "Hey, I need Mike." And of course, Mom answers the door, and she's older on oxygen, walker, you know, this whole thing. And I'm like, "I need Mike to come out here. I got to talk to him about something." She said, "Mike ain't here." I said, "Well, that's funny because I just saw him go in the back door." And she's like, "I don't know what you saw, but you didn't see that." I said, "Well, ma'am, I really need to talk to him. If you just have him come over here, we get this taken care of." She looked me dead in the face and said, "Go get a fucking warrant." I said, "Game on." So I told the guy that was with me, I was like, "Cut the water off so they can't flush nothing. It's on." I go back to the 81. I type up a warrant. I go get it signed. And by this time, you know, this is during, you know, afternoon. So by this time you get, you know, legal process and everything going. It takes a little bit. It's not as quick as they say, you know, they show in the movies and stuff. So we get it done. And I'm just a slow typer. I'm not even going to lie. But anyway, we get it done and I get it signed off and I'm like, all right. So we're stacking up. We're going to go in here and get him. There was some stolen property stuff going on there too. So it wasn't just over the municipal warrant, but anyway, we stack up and we're getting ready to go in there. So we're hitting the police department, open the door, police department warrant, nothing. So finally we're like, okay. So we had a guy boot it. We're still stacked up. We go through the living room and we come around the corner and here's Nana with her oxygen and walker coming down the hallway. "I'm coming. I'll stop." I'm like, let me see your hands. And then I thought about that for a minute. And I'm like, wait, if she takes her hands off the walker, she'll fall. No. So, so we get her and we like scoot her very quickly to the living room and get her sat down on the couch. And then one of the guys is hollering, "Did you check that couch for weapons?" And I was like, nah, she ain't gonna do us like, well, I don't know. She might do us like that. She might have a sawed off in the couch, you know, like, I don't know. But we ended up, what did I say his name was? Mike. So ended up going to the door, his bedroom. And I'm like, open the door. And of course, nothing. We boot it. And this has got to go on another one. Anyway, I mean, stark naked chick standing up. She's like trying to cover herself and we're screaming, "Get your hands up." And she don't know whether to cover herself or get her hands up. Cover herself, get her hands up. Finally, we're just like, "Get out." So she goes running down the hall. and we're looking for him, and like I'm thinking he's in the closet. Maybe he's not in the closet. The bed was stuffed all the way to the corner, and in the corner was a pile of blankets with a lone Reebok sticking out from underneath it. I'll never forget, it was a Reebok shoe. So he had jumped in the corner, hid under the blankets, and his foot was still sticking out. I was like, it was crazy. Grandma cussed us that whole time. She cussed us. We still ended up we went back and fixed the door because,
It makes you feel like crap sometimes when you kick those doors in. You know they're tearing their place up, but
you don't know what's in there.
Yeah, and then the other thing, too, is like if grandma or mom or whoever would have just gone, yeah, he's in there and blah, 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 and none of that crap would have happened. But
yeah. We did end up, out of that one, and she wasn't even aware. Like, she knew he was, like, no good, like, bad news. She thought everybody was picking on, but it did turn out that he was doing some cooking in there in the house with her. So she wasn't too happy with him once she found all that out. So we ended up, it was a bad situation, but he ended up clearing out, and she didn't have any more stolen property around her house, and she just didn't have to worry about this kind of problem. So it kind of turned out.
You're talking about, grandma yelling at you guys, telling y'all go get a damn warrant and stuff. Old people are ruthless.
Mm-hmm.
But, there was a time I've got a rookie with me, and we get this call from this lady, and she's like, yeah, I've got a protective order against my soon-to-be ex-husband, and he sent me a text message. And we're like, okay, so we look, yeah, there's an order. He can't make any contact with her at all. Mm-hmm. And what they had gone to court over it, and then the judge had told her, said, hey, whenever y'all's, I think it was like COVID money or something came in, mm-hmm. y'all are to split that evenly. So when it comes in, you need to have it transferred into his account and all mm-hmm. that. Well, he knew the day that it was coming in, so he sent her a text message and it said, hey, don't forget to transfer that money. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, there's that. The order says specifically that he cannot make any contact with you whatsoever.
Dang.
So she shows us the text message, and we're like, yeah, he violated the protective order. So we go over to the guy's house, and I'm training a new guy. I got a rookie with me. We're on our way over there, and he's like, so he goes, what do I do? He's like, because this is a legit thing. She was told to do this, and he's just reminding her. And I'm like, I understand that, but you still have an order from a judge that says, he cannot talk to her at all whatsoever. Yep. And sometimes they have kids together, it'll say that he can talk to them as long as it's in regards to the children or whatever, but it wasn't even about that.
So y'all end up hooking him?
We go out there, we get to this guy's house, we go up, knock on the door, and the lady was probably in her mid to late 30s. Mm-hmm. So we're probably thinking that's the kind of guy we're going to be dealing with. Mm-hmm. And I can't remember his exact age, but I believe he was 72.
Oh.
And they had kids together.
So
yeah.
Hugh Hefner and Nicole going on.
Oh, yeah. So we get there, and I've got my rookie with me, and he just kind of looks at me, and I'm like, yeah, man, we're going to have to do this. So we're talking to the guy, and we're telling him what all's going on and all that. This old man was as cool as can be with this. He goes, you guys are right. He goes, as soon as I sent that message, he goes, I thought about it, and I was like, but it pertains to what she was ordered to do, and that he goes, maybe it won't be a big deal. And he was like, and he goes, y'all are right. I shouldn't have done that. And he goes, I'm telling you, yeah, I did it, and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, well, sir, I was like, since you made contact with her, we're going to have to take you to jail and all that. And he was like, okay. He's like, yeah, I understand. And he says, can you mind if I lock my house up before we go? And I'm like, of course. He's being nice with us and all that. And like, of course, you can lock your house up and all that. And I already feel bad because my rookie's taking somebody to jail that's 72 years old.
Yeah, and he was just trying to secure the bag. That's all.
Yeah.
He was just trying to make sure he had grocery money.
And I given rookie hell because he's taking an old man to jail. And he still claims that he's got like the department's record or whatever for the oldest arrest or whatever. Mm. And we make fun and all that. But anyway, it's a bad situation, and we're letting the guy go through, and he's going through and locking everything up. Well, I'm still kind of following because you're still kind of iffy on people. Mm-hmm. You're like, okay, is he going back here to his bedroom or wherever to secure the front door, or is he going where he's got a firearm placed and we're fixing to have to? So I'm following him everywhere he goes. He goes back into his bedroom and he says, "Hey, before we go, can I take my heart pill?"
Oh, man.
And I'm like, "Yes, please take your heart pill, because I do not need you having some kind of cardiac event in my unit or right when we get you to the jail and all that." And the guy was like, "Well, should I take my pills with me?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know." I was like, "I don't know how long you'll be in there and all." And he goes, "Well, I'll just bail out in the morning." He goes, "When will I see a judge?" And I told him, and he goes, "Well, I'll just pay my bail in the morning and then I'll be able to come back home and get my medicine."
Oh, so he's just going on vacation then.
Yeah, well, that's where I learned my lesson. I told him, "Okay, yeah, that's fine. The next time I do that, I'm telling him, no, go ahead and bring your medicine." He was like in jail for like 3 days for this crap. Yeah.
Wow.
So we arrest this old man, this 72-year-old guy or 73 or whatever. We let him take his heart medicine so he doesn't have a cardiac event. And then while we're en route to jail, he's telling us about how he's a published author.
Oh, okay.
And we were like, "Oh, okay, that's cool." And then he really starts laying it on thick. I mean, I don't know about my rookie that was with me, but I felt like absolute horse shit.
Did he tell a story about this cop that like pulled over his mom or something and like arrested her because her tag was out? Or... did he tell you about
No,
that?
he didn't. No, okay. Different guy.
So unrelated.
But this guy had written a book about law enforcement, and he was telling us how he was a big supporter of law enforcement, and that before he moved here from California, I think's where it was, that he was one of the producers on a television show called Real Stories of the Highway Patrol.
Really?
And I was like, "You've got to be shitting me. This guy's like a huge supporter, supports everything we do, and here I am having to arrest him because all he said to his soon-to-be ex-wife was, 'Hey, don't forget to deposit that money in my account.'"
Yeah, his tag was fixing to go out and he needed insurance. He's probably making sure, because I'm sure he heard stories.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
He wanted to make sure that was up.
Yeah, I'm never going to hear the end of this shit.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Now, what would have made it worse is if he had got out of there and walked to my pickup with his walker.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Walkers ain't no joke. Those are dangerous. Anything can be a weapon.
Yeah, that reminds me of something else I want to talk about. You want me to shut up? You got anything you want to say?
Go ahead.
And actually, this didn't happen very far from my house. There was a lady out, and it's kind of raining outside, and she's walking down the road, refusing to go home. And she's got some kind of, I don't think it's dementia. It might have been Alzheimer's. I can't remember. She's got something going on with her. But she had walked away from home, and her daughter had called and said, "Hey, my mom's out. She's got dementia and all this. We need to find her." So, of course, I'm going to want to, not do a report. I want to get her found. So I start looking first. Well, I go down. I can't remember what road it was, and I find her. It's like, oh, thank God, that she's not hurt or something happened. I get her in the truck, and she starts talking to me, and we're just talking like normal, and we're driving around, and I think I probably hit a big mile section and drove around it 2 or 3 times listening to her talk. And I don't know if it's true or not. Her daughter never did say, but she said that her daughter was mean as hell, and that she was an ex-Marine, and that she would fight her all the time and would beat her up.
Her daughter's name wasn't Holly, was it?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
Similar kind of
Sounds
person.
Very similar.
Yeah.
To somebody I know.
But anyway, I get her picked up, and I'm driving this mile section over and over and over. And she's like, "Nope, I don't want to go home with that mean bitch." And I was like, "Well, why are you saying something like that? That's not very nice, trying to get on their side." And she goes, "I don't care." She goes, "I want you to drive me to the casino and drop me off." And I was like, "Ma'am, I can't just take you to the casino and leave you there. Your daughter's going to worry about you." And she goes, "That bitch don't worry about nobody." And I was like, "Well, she obviously does. She called me looking for you." And she goes, "She don't care about me. She's a Marine. She's mean as hell, and she fights me every day."
Oh, wow.
I was like, "Y'all get like in fist fights?" And she's like, "Oh, yeah. And look at her. She's a Marine." She goes, "I'm just an old lady. She's going to beat me up." And I'm like, "Ma'am, I can't take you anywhere but home." So we hit this mile section. I probably had her, like, our shift's over with at 4 o'clock, and I think I found her like right at 4, and it took till like 4:45, 5 o'clock before I finished this up.
Oh, she kept you late.
Listening to her, talking to her, and everything else. And I can't remember. I don't know what happened with that lady. I don't even know if she's still around. Oh no, she ended up passing away.
Oh.
But
I mean, you could have took her to the casino, and then it would have been tribal paper. They'd have caught it.
Yeah, that's
missing
true.
person on their deal.
Yeah.
If any tribal officers are listening, we love you.
Yes, it was. It was raining hard that day.
So she was like soaked.
No, yeah, and I was soaked.
Oh.
I was getting pissed, and she was trying to get me to get her to get her keys for her car and all that stuff. And I was like, I can't remember her name, but I was like, you don't have a driver's license. And she's like, yes, I do. And she pulls it out and shows it to me. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to get her. I was like, I'm going to run this, and they're going to tell me that her license has been suspended or revoked or whatever. So I was like, can you just advise me telling dispatch if it's valid? Mm-hmm. Dispatch runs it, and they said, hey, firm, her license is valid. Crap. I should have turned the radio down because she heard that. And she's like, see, I can drive and all that. And yeah, it's one of those things, you're in a rock and a hard place. Yeah, she can legally drive, but she don't need to.
Yeah.
We'd never see her again.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't be good.
And I mean, I got a call one time, the missing person, and it was a lady called in, her mom, and she said that her mom has dementia and she doesn't need to be driving. So her license was suspended and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, okay, her car was gone. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I'm going to go ahead and, put a bolo out, tell everybody be on the lookout that, this lady doesn't need to be out. She's just not aware of what's going on around her. We need to be looking for her and all that kind of stuff. And when they got that put out, and I couldn't even get my report finished, but the highway patrol had located her. She was on I-40. I don't know how far away she was from Arkansas.
Dang.
But she led the highway patrol on a pursuit.
Nice.
And she was traveling like 104 miles an hour in the westbound lane going east.
Yeah. She was about that life. She was old. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
I told you.
And that reminds me that it's like she's not all there, so she doesn't know what she's doing, and you can't really fault her for it. She doesn't need to be driving. And I'm sitting here thinking, man, this lady is older in age, and she's driving the wrong way down a one-way road. And I got to thinking, you know what? Age doesn't have anything to do with it, because my wife does that stuff on the constant.
Yeah, that is a problem.
Because we pulled into Lowe's one day, and I go, what are you doing? Because it's a split entrance and exit. And she pulls in on the exit, and I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, what do you mean? She gets mad at me because I'm yelling at her.
Was it in your truck?
Yeah.
Well, of course you're going to.
And I'm like, you're going in. You pulled in the exit. Yeah. There's people driving at us, throwing their hands in the air. Little kids are screaming. They're thinking they're going to die and all this shit.
Diving out of the way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy crap. And then sometimes I probably should send her off to have her license checked.
Yeah.
Have her go through another, what's that called? Driver's ed or whatever.
Yeah. Driver's course. I think I remember seeing that. It was on Geo. I think I remember seeing that call. Because they called out how many? Well, there's a bunch of units out there on that.
On the pursuit?
The Lowe's thing, because she was like refusing to get out. She was like taking you hostage, and
yeah, she's one of those that thinks that I can get her out of something if she gets in trouble.
Oh,
it's
right.
like, oh no, it's not happening.
Yeah, there's a whole list of that going on.
And that's the other thing,
my mother-in-law. Oh my God, my sister-in-law is a lawyer. And my mother-in-law thinks because, I'm where I'm at in the police department. So, well, my son-in-law is in the police department. And they're like, okay, where's this department at? And not anybody's ever heard of where we're at. So they're like, yeah, okay, lady, I don't think that town exists, but sure. But yeah.
Yeah, and if something happens and they're, need to take her to jail, I'm going to tell them to take her. But she just needs to be out when the kids get home.
Right. Children come first.
Yeah. But anyway, I think we've gotten in enough trouble and we stirred up enough. We're going to thank you guys for joining us again on Code 0.5. Make sure you visit us on our website at code0.5.co. And if you can, subscribe, leave us a review on iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcast. And then, I don't know. That's it. Guess we're going to get off here.
Yeah, if there's something they want to hear about or anything in particular, questions, comments, likes, dislikes, let us know.
Yeah, if you check out our Facebook page, I forgot to tell you all this.
Facebook.
They have I put a link on there. If you guys want to be a guest on the show, you can fill out a form. It's kind of like an application to come be a guest on the show, and then we'll contact you. But anyway, we're going to get off here. Y'all have a good one.